Tonight on the Three-Quarter Show, Brett leads us through Citation needed, Leighton and Goose are unfortunately time-lapsed instead of actually filmed, other camera issues ensue, and we get a hilarious story about the US Navy. Let's go to the studio.
What's up, guys? This is Tice. We're back again for another season of the Three-Quarter Show. Whether or not what we filmed before this will air before this, we don't know, because we filmed a couple extra fun games this season, because we're changing things up a little bit. Joining us today, he is the host. This is his house. This is his abode. This is his place.
It's my home.
Yes, Leighton Moreland. Yes. Also joining us today,
A former resident of this establishment.
a former resident of this establishment, and the man who's going to be leading Citation Needed for this episode, Brett Weebold.
I can't be held accountable for anything.
That's probably fair. And together we are known as Three Quarters of an Idiot, and this is the Three-Quarter Show, because together we are not quite one complete
Not quite all
idiot.
together?
We try our best.
Life's hard sometimes. But we're always looking for that extra little piece, that last quarter of the idiot. And we really did want to have our
Je ne sais quattro.
the jersey.
Yes! Yes!
If we had limes, I would hit you with a lime, but we are tragically out of limes. We used them all on Jimmy.
There's a one right there!
Yeah, but we're not throwing actual citrus in my house. I have fragile things.
That's true. Fiance.
And
a woman.
Gotta keep everyone happy.
Yes.
We were excited to have our good man Dusty on, but unfortunately, a vintage thing from 2020 occurred.
The vid.
The exposure of the COVID, the Ronas.
The Rona.
And
My corona.
she's looking so fine after 9 Coronas. So unfortunately, Dusty will be joining us in season 4, but this is season 3 and we needed a guest. And at the last minute, you know him well, the man, the hunk with a bonk, it's Goose. Oh! There you go. That's all the intro you need. Yep. Star Trek shakes out of the way. If you notice a surprise change in lighting and audio things, don't worry about it, because we're
fine.
Figuring out a new space, and
Nothing changed.
it's great. Nothing happened. Nothing changed.
happened.
Absolutely nothing at all.
There is no war in Ba Sing Se.
There is not.
There is no
There
war
is
in Ba
not.
Sing Se. However, there may be a war in today's story.
Oh,
really?
boy. So,
Do tell.
before we jump into the story,
That was such a good segue.
it was such a good segue. Today's game is Citation Needed. That means that Brett is going to read us a story vaguely reminiscent of railroad history, railroad things, railroad-adjacent story, and he's going to try and make us guess the details. Anyone who guesses the details properly is going to get a point. There's no ding, because we still don't have...
Sure there is. It's right. See, the editor added it in. It's right.
Yeah, that one.
You heard it that time.
Yeah, you heard it that time.
Is
That's
this
great.
about when the light bulb appears over my head?
Our production value is not that high.
We'll see.
We couldn't afford the light bulb.
Don't
episode.
kid yourself, Moreland.
It's right there. Anyway.
Oh.
Sorry, the whole
circle
world,
too.
the whole world for the ceiling. The whole world went, whoa, for a second there.
No, it didn't.
It's fine. Anyways, and then we're not having Mystery Citrus because single
we're indoors. Maybe
single
next
tier.
time. We'll see.
Maybe next time we'll play at my abode, which is just a bachelor pad dumpster fire, and we can throw all the limes in the world at us. But
Today, we are talking about the Great Locomotive Heist.
Heist?
no,
Not that.
no.
Slightly different meaning of the word.
Yes.
And I'm just going to throw us right into it. Let's start broad. What decade do we think we are for the Great Locomotive? There are many Great Locomotive heists.
Let's say 1910s.
Not quite.
Gonna go 1930s.
Closer.
50s?
50s. The date is September 15th, 1950. Anybody want to guess where the hell we are?
Korea?
Oh.
Dang.
Oh.
Double ding
I get
to
2
Mark.
points.
Oh.
This is a story about the Korean War. Everybody knows the Great Locomotive Chase, the story of when the Army stole locomotives from the enemy in the Civil War. This is the Navy's turn to steal locomotives.
So we're still locomotives for free and hammered.
Yes.
What do we do with this thing on land?
Oh, we'll get there. So a little
In
bit.
the Navy.
You can run on
Sail the 7 rails in the Navy.
Rail the seventh. Wait, no.
Phrasing.
I mean,
You can run trains on your.
I think the Navy does all those things too, but
We want you. We want you. And we're back to BB and Clegg in the closet. Anyway,
We genuinely support our armed services here.
genuinely
Yes,
do.
But
Thank
we
you.
will make fun of the Navy and the Air Force for no reason whatsoever.
The chair force.
Yes.
Absolutely.
we know the memes, but seriously, cheers to you all and thank you for your service.
So-
if you are an armed
Thank
service
you.
member.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes.
Leighton, do you want to give us a little bit of background for our viewers? Because some of them are products of the American public education system.
Christ.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about the Korean War?
Well, for those that did not grow up
A
with...
brief version of the Korean War.
I was going to give you the brief
abridged
version.
of
A
the
double
abridged.
brief version.
A double brief version.
A double secret brief version.
I wear boxers, good man. Limes.
Because I'm free as a bird now. Oh, okay. Anyway.
Because I'm free. Free
No, so for those of us that did not have no lives in middle school and Dish TV and watch MASH from 4 to 5 on channel 185.
That's
Couldn't be any
memorable.
of
That's
us.
me. BTB. Anyway.
Anywho, yeah, so the Korean War it's sometimes called the Forgotten War, between 1950 and 1953. First post-war, real like U.S. Soviet sphere proxy war kind of deal. At the end of the Second World War, Korea had been divided up into a North and a South. The
What
South,
a weird concept.
I know, right? A North and a South.
A North Korea and a South Korea? I've never heard of such a thing.
Is this when I get banged from the /r/Pyongyang for having this on my channel now? Finally,
Pyongyang.
there it is,
Okay.
and you get banned from it for existing. Sounds like somebody else I know. Anyway,
You're not a mechanical engineer.
that's fine.
Oh, picante.
muy
Un
picante.
poco picantes.
Anywho, so after the Second World War, Korea was divided into two. However, the North felt a little bit spicy and decided to invade the South.
And that's where our story begins, actually. That's a good introduction.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's kind of where our
I
story
was prepared for the hour-long dissertation because I'm wearing citrus on my shirt. He said.
I just know extraneous amounts of useless bullshit.
It's not useless.
This is what we
In
love
this
you for, friend.
context.
I'm expecting you to guide some of this story, although after a while it gets just silly, so...
Are you feeling a little limey, mate?
He's actually a bit lemony.
Yeah, realistically, I'm
He's
a
been
little,
caught in
I'm a
a bit
little
of a
lemony.
thicket.
Lemon lime.
What's really
He's
fascinating
in a
that
thicket, a snicket thicket. A lemony snicket thicket.
a lemony snicket, that's unfortunate.
If there were limes.
It would just be standoff. We'd all be taking them.
That was, wow. I'm really hurting for not having limes right now. The audience will demand it, you know.
They will. They will.
Are we going to have a running lime count on the bottom of the screen?
I guess we'll have to. Otherwise, there's going to be a coup. There's going to be a YouTube audience coup.
A coup in 2023? Watch the news, you'll learn, kids.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Brett, what's your favorite German composer?
I'm feeling like Tchaikovsky right now, though.
Der Königsmarsch. Yeah.
We are educated.
Air quotes on it.
And also stupid at the same time.
There's no air quotes on that.
The worst combination.
Anyway, our story follows the American military. What is the American military trying to do?
Does this have anything to do with Operation Paul Bunyan?
No, this has
Okay.
nothing to do with Paul Bunyan. Paul Bunyan comes much later.
They're trying to stick it to the Russians because, God, that's the whole point of this thing.
Piss.
I mean, I'll give it
risky.
to you. I'll give that to you.
They are trying not to get pushed into the sea by the North Koreans.
That's much closer. They're at a place called Incheon, which is on the west coast of the Korean Peninsula. It's current-day South Korea. Where are they trying to get? They have landed, and now
they're trying to get to
They're
Seoul.
trying to get to Pyongyang.
Leighton gets it. For this early in the war, they're trying to get to Seoul currently. What's a problem with getting to Seoul from Incheon?
There's 1,000,000 North Koreans / Russians in the way.
That is one problem.
Actually, no Russians in that war. It was all North Koreans and Chinese.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's semantics.
Russians running the marionettes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Das Marionetza.
Yes,
Yeah.
Marionetsky. That's one problem. What are some other problems with getting this entire army from the coast to Pyongyang, which is...
And hill.
Indeed.
Yes.
A hill is a problem.
And mountains and no trucks.
No trucks is much closer.
Okay.
Goose, do you have anything else to add? It's a lack of something that's...
No supply line, no supply chain, no...
Effectively, yes.
Yeah.
It is a
It's a
logistical...
beachhead.
It is a beachhead.
They landed and they have nothing.
Yeah, MacArthur has walked across the water in slacks with a pipe.
Yes.
And that is about how it's gone.
Paint us a picture. That's about right. So the U.S. military has landed on the beach at Incheon, and they want to advance up to Seoul, or across to Seoul, rather.
Yeah.
And they don't have many trucks. The roads are not super great. That's one of the big issues with Anhill. There's something that they didn't really have to deal with in Europe. The infrastructure isn't great. There is, however, an railroad. What does the U.S. lack?
A locomotive.
Railroad.
Indeed. They lack a locomotive. They have a railroad yard on their beachhead, and they have tracks that lead straight to Seoul. However, the North Koreans knew they were coming, so what did the North Koreans do?
They took all of their toys and ran.
And kaboom.
Yes. And
Yes, and sort of yes. They took all the locomotives out of this yard on the coast. They have moved all of the locomotives and everything useful inland, and they have torn up the tracks behind them in certain spots. What are we going to do about that, gents?
we're gonna take one of them.
We're going to bring our own from home.
How are you going to... No, we're not going to bring one from home because I don't know, actually. History
I was gonna
doesn't
say-
really know as to why we didn't do
I
that.
think like 100 tons on a landing craft doesn't go quite well.
I was going to say, I think we need a blue water port to be unloading locomotives.
Yeah.
I mean, but they had like the boats.
So
They
we
had
do
the
a
fence that
spec ops recon mission to go steal one and bring it back so that we can then go that way.
I know where I can get an engine anytime I want.
It's
on the timetable.
There is one problem with that statement that's otherwise very good. I'll give you a point for spec ops.
Okay.
Because this is a secret mission in uncharted space.
Okay.
However, there is one problem with the statement. Can anybody guess?
Nobody knows how to run a
one-
train.
No, actually, we'll get to him.
Oh,
Him. Yes, just him.
We'll get to our friend.
Casey Jones.
he restores it and runs it on the main line.
Yeah, on the Pyongyang line.
Ooh. They have
What else did Mark say that could be... Mark said they're going to go inland, they're going to steal a locomotive, bring it back, and then...
Is there some clapped out piece of crap at a museum or some equivalent?
No.
Okay, it's not us. Okay.
Tifffield Thunderbolt.
No, they don't steal the tip with them. These are active service locomotives that they're going to get.
I don't think Korea has
I actually just
diesels
gave
yet
it
at
away.
this point.
No.
But
No, this is all steam engine.
There's an out of service engine at the shop that they slap together and run.
No,
No.
I think I might have misled that slightly. The
I
thing that
think-
was with your statement is you said one locomotive.
Oh, they steal many.
The goal is to steal as many locomotives as they can get their grubby little hands on.
Oh my.
I like this. I like this plan.
are they hot? Are they cold? Are they gonna have to fire them up with?
Or some of them hot and others in progress.
They don't know why.
Because they have no intel. They,
don't
haven't
speak
made
Korean.
it there. They
Just
have.
out there.
They have just a little bit of intel. What intel do they have?
They're there.
Okay, well, besides that, they do have some things that fly.
They
Planes?
have recon photos.
Okay, yes.
Are they going to parachute in and steal locomotives via
No.
paratroopers?
That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome, but way too awesome.
This is the timeline that I'm here for.
Please tell me Dusty's ancestor is floating down in overalls with a cigar and a bottle.
Swinging as he goes, I hate this.
Put me on the ground. Put me on the ground.
me on
Give
the
me
ground.
my engine.
Don't look down, don't look down, don't look down. So they had a recon craft go over a little while previous, and they were able to spot some locomotives.
Okay.
They have no idea how many.
Okay.
They only know a vague location of these locomotives. They spotted N City with N Yard that had some engines. How many, they're not sure. Whether they're hot or cold, they have no idea. So, this is a secret mission in uncharted space, as we've talked about. You talked about parachuting people into this.
They're going boldly.
That would be a job for the airborne. That would be a job for NASA?
Starfleet?
Starfleet,
yeah.
thank you. I'm not a Trekkie, I don't know.
Get a life.
Who are we gonna call? Who are you gonna call for this?
Ghostbusters.
The Navy.
Okay, what detachment of soldiers are you going to call for this secret spec ops
You
mission?
call the engineering corps and send them to run down the railroad and fix it along the way?
You weren't supposed to get it that quick. They called the Seabees.
Yeah, the Seabees.
because
they are the people who do all this shit, build everything, and know how to do it.
Right.
For the audience that doesn't know, the Seabees are not known for their stealth. The Seabees are not known for their dexterity with weapons. The Seabees are known for building, blowing it up, and drinking. So, of course,
In that
They are
order.
known for
Or the
building things
opposite order.
extremely quickly as well.
yes.
This B-29 is flying in. When do you need the runway? Now.
Yeah. Get
3
a bulldozer,
hours.
make us a runway.
Yeah, realistically, an hour.
So, Chief Petty Officer E.A. Sidney is quoted as saying he has railroad experience. Anybody want to guess what that means? Mark.
Brakeman.
Leighton.
He got fired.
Goose.
I was gonna say he was like a station agent.
Probably some combination of the three. We have no idea. This man says, I know a thing or two about it.
I've seen a train before.
I looked at a train.
So, we're going to lead a secret mission behind enemy lines at night. We're going to depart at sunset and head behind enemy lines so we can't be seen. To get an indeterminate number of locomotives to run them a vaguely known distance over track that we know it's broken in a few spots, but they may have torn more up along the way.
I see no problem here.
There's
No problems at all.
fine.
How
It'll be
many
fine.
people is E.A. Sidney going to bring with him?
100.
No, 10.
50.
Goose gets it 8. E.A. Sidney plus 8. So there's 9 people sneaking through the
The
jungle.
coal goes in the hole. So you're stealing, at most, 9 locomotives.
We will get there.
Unless they just, I don't even want to consider the thoughts of just setting things and praying.
running rope between the locomotives.
Oh, I was just assuming put the bar forward, open the throttle, and go, alright, there's the first one gone.
Locomotives can't pull things. You don't have to steam all of them.
Okay, well, I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Okay.
do when we get there.
Well,
Spoilers.
Spoilers. So they set off at night into North Korean territory with a hope and a prayer of not being detected, and that they will reach the place called Yongdong-po. That's the town. You're not supposed to laugh. That's culturally insensitive, Mark.
hi, I'm a child. Hello, I'm 4
Mark, you're going to be upsetting your Korean audience, all 3 of them.
Yeah.
To a town called Yongdong-po.
Yes.
Yes. They set off at sunset. How does this go for them?
Poorly.
Poorly.
How does this go for them?
They derail.
They don't have a train yet.
They make it there.
Leighton gets it surprisingly well.
Okay, they make it.
Considering they're infiltrating the enemy lines
Right.
and going deep into enemy territory to steal a lot of enemy equipment,
There were no patrols.
there were no
anywhere.
patrols. They got off scot-free and they reached Yongdong-po by early in the evening. There, they discover their indeterminate number of locomotives is 8. They have 8 locomotives that can be steamed and moved. However, there is a caveat because some of them aren't quite prepped, some of them aren't quite ready. They're not at a shop facility. They're not in a roundhouse. They're at a railroad yard, but it's for a factory. Where are they?
Weapons factory.
No.
Splody boys.
We're going to keep trying at this one because this one's fun.
Monastery?
No. Why would a monastery be a railroad yard? A monastery in South Korea?
There was a significant missionary presence there before the Second World War.
In 1950?
Yeah.
Okay.
The
For the
Vatican's
Second
got
World War, 1950.
Not the
Yeah.
pineapple apple.
Pineapple
So where are they? They found themselves in this factory complex. It is a fairly substantial yard, and this is where all the locomotives that they have moved from between the beach and here to.
Meatpacking plant.
No?
Automotive manufacturer.
Think more fun.
Kazoo factory.
How fun are we thinking, Brett? Is this like conductor's level
Airplane
fun, or-
manufacturing.
No?
Bombs?
You Panthers? No?
Penny whistles.
No? We're going to keep guessing at this. We might have to edit a thing in here to see how long we keep going with this guess. Because it's too good.
It's a cake factory.
No. A cake factory?
A large bakery.
These aren't made. They're bombed. They're made in a factory. A bomb factory.
I already asked bomb factory.
No, it's not a bomb factory.
Mark, it's a lie. The cake is a lie.
Oh yeah, that's right.
A kimchi factory?
Let's think on our experience. What large factory facility has a railroad yard that we might be near?
A brewery.
They're at the Kirin Brewery and Distillery Yard.
Oh God, please tell me this involves
We're
something.
stealing the locomotives and the beer, God.
So you have 8 Seabees and a commanding officer, 8 locomotives. You need to have them hot
And
by
100 tank cars of beer.
You need to have them hot by sunrise.
I thought the Great Beer Run was in Vietnam.
This is the greater
How
beer
do they
run.
divvy up their forces here?
Well, you 8 go drink, I'll go hustle the engines.
Basically, it takes. The commanding officer delegates 4 Seabees, 2 locomotives per Seabee, steam these engines and have them ready to roll by the break of day.
The rest of us are gonna go get
The
hammered.
rest of us are gonna go steal as much liquor and beer as we can.
Cheers to you, my good sir.
Cheers.
Oh my God.
So what do we? Yes, I'll join in.
Sláinte.
Legends. So the night passes, dawn breaks. What do they have to show for it?
Hangover.
Maybe 3 locomotives at pressure and a massive hangover.
Okay, so we got 3 locomotives. It's the Seabees. Spoiler: there's no hangover. They're fine.
They're just in the morning.
I
Yeah.
will amend my guess.
Okay.
4 locomotives and 100 casks of beer.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with every single locomotive there, every free amount of flat space has beer on it. Like they have just stacked
The tender is full of coal to the actual top of the water leg, and then it's a pyramid of beer cans.
I'm gonna say clearly you dangle the beer off a string and dunk it in the tender like you do in
Yeah.
the river, so it stays cool.
Right.
It refrigerates.
Right.
It refrigerates the beer.
Just don't take that first sip too quick. The boiler treatment will make it go. Yeah.
What do you
Okay.
think they have?
I think they've put everything into a consist. They have probably 6 of the 8 locomotives probably steamed out. 2 of them are
Okay.
dead for whatever reason.
Okay.
And they've grabbed whatever consist of shit they can that's just full of booze.
Okay, I'll give it. Mark's probably the closest. They have 7 locomotives
Okay.
ready to run. One of them, the details are lost to history. One-
Something was. It's a steam
a
engine.
locomotive.
It's a steam engine.
You got 7 out of 8?
7 out of 8 is shocking.
They couldn't get it ready to go. In terms of beer and sake, because it's a brewery and distillery.
Oh my.
The Naval Gazette describes cases of alcohol, but then goes on to describe these are not cases like cases.
These are pallet
These
cases?
are pallets.
Okay.
They have 15 pallets of beer and 1 pallet of sake stacked onto the tenders of these.
My guys. My guys.
These are all, by the way, switch locomotives. It's not. It's lost.
It's a bunch of 060s that are going to be doing this down the track.
They're either 060s, 080s, or 280s. It's the details are lost to history, but these are not fast hybrid locomotives.
No.
These are slobber bucket ramshackle engines stacked to the roofs with alcohol. Miles behind enemy territory with a broken ass railroad and the entire North Korean army in front of them, and they're going that way. So what do?
They go that way.
They highball through the yard.
They highball through the yard. Break a day, they load everybody up, all 9 of them, the whopping crew, and they post, 1 person in every engine. They couple a couple of them together so they're able to crew multiple, stack people on tenders, post guards, that kind of a thing. And they take off. How does that go for them?
Poorly.
I think it goes
Surprisingly
well.
It goes surprisingly well for a little while.
I think they get about a third of the way there before they find track broken.
That detail's lost to history. It goes really well. The North Koreans, for whatever reason, aren't asking any questions about the bunch of drunken
Also,
whooping
they're just
white
delivering
guys
the beer to the
Drunken,
coast.
hollering
they
white
are,
guys
yeah.
with rifles.
with a bunch of locomotives all in one. They make it without any question to the first bit of track that's broken up. What did the North Koreans do to break the track?
Dynamite.
Take out the
That would have been smart.
take out the rails and just move them to the side.
pile ties on top of them.
Goose gets the point. So this is at a time when they don't have a lot of heavy equipment. This is before they've received a lot of support from Grandfatherski.
Okay, so they've pulled the joint bars and knocked a couple rails out.
They've taken the rails and they've taken the ties in some cases, and they've relocated them. They haven't messed with the grade. They haven't dynamited anything.
So from the U.S. Army study from approximately this time period, which is on YouTube, you know that you can just send it over that.
Well, they didn't, because they stopped, and because they were the Seabees, about half of them...
Track!
Right, about half of them went out and were dispatched to fix the track. What were the other half doing?
Drinking.
And standing guard, but yes, there was nobody there, so they were drinking.
Beer in this hand, M1 Garand in this hand.
Yes. So they make some noise. There are a couple of villagers that are kind of looking at him, making noise.
Funny, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what the... I don't care.
What the f are these white people
30
doing here?
minutes, they're gone.
They fix the tree, they're gone. They keep going. How's it go for them?
Pretty well.
They rinse and repeat all the way back.
Rinse, repeat, not quite all the way back. We will run into some trouble eventually.
Oh my.
They do this 2 or 3 more times. They
Okay.
stop, they fix the track, they keep going. Mid-morning, they reach an encampment that has the track broke out of it. They're still miles from the front line, but they're finally facing some resistance.
Okay.
What is the approach that the Seabees take, knowing that they only have 9 guys and as many, guns and bits of munition as they could carry on their backs in a stealth mission on foot?
Every single safety's going off, blowdowns are open, they're making as much noise as possible.
All 9 dudes in the cab of the lead engine, out the cab door, cab windows, just rifles aimed at the camp.
Do they stop?
No.
They do have
Taking a highball in the yacht!
They do have to stop because the tracks are broken. So they take about half of the guys, post them on the engines with guns blazing, whistles blowing, safeties popping, blowdowns ripping.
And the other guys go fix the track
The other guys go
under the
fix-
suppressing fire of the guys in the suppressing fire!
The other guys go fix the track. How does that go for them?
Why? Surprisingly well.
Fix the track.
Why isn't this a movie?
And as the North Koreans are continuing to shoot at them, they leave. They just keep...
All right, thanks, gents.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, love you, bye.
For the beer and sake, too.
I just like to think that they fix the track, they're underway, and some crack shot North Korean goes to shoot, and he hits one of the bottles of sake and it explodes, and you smell the reeking scent of alcohol, and one of the Americans just goes, "That son of a is gonna get it."
Now it's
and just and then you get the slow-mo, like sniper FPS shot, and you watch the bullet fly down, like, boom, kill that guy.
Go throw the scope into his head, kaboom.
That's what you get for messing with our sake.
KO'd.
You're with it tonight.
Hey, man.
You're with
Someone
it.
take a stock of all the limes so far.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna have to do it in the edit,
I
man.
was gonna say, we're past now.
Put it in post.
Post-processing,
So-
hell of a thing.
They have passed all of the broken track. They have their engines still going. They've lost the fire for whatever reason in one of them, so they have 6 engines pulling a dead 2. They're still rolling along.
Cool.
Yeah, some of them they've got, I can't remember how they described it. They have one, I think, that's uncoupled and leading in case it gets bazookaed.
Kaboomed.
Yeah, something like that. And the rest of them, I think, are either in a very tight convoy or it's some combination of coupled together behind. They've got past the broken track. Now they're approaching what?
The Americans.
U.S. lines.
Which is also...
Oh, active combat zone.
Yeah, the front.
They're charging these locomotives into the front line from the North Korean side. And the encampment has radioed ahead. The North Koreans
Naturally
know they're coming. What do the North Koreans do to the track?
Kaboom.
They don't dynamite it.
Take out some rails again.
Pile something on it. As
Park
fast
their
as the wind is
artillery
right along.
on the track.
They park something there.
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. The North Koreans elect to hide in the bunkers and shoot at the locomotives as they're coming, but now they're shooting at the locomotives that are charging from the rear that nobody really knows what they are, because they know they're enemies, but the North Koreans have no clue what's going on. They just had a rogue radio call of like, "Hey, do you know anything about a train?" And they're also shooting at the Americans that are very, very vehemently trying to get up off of the beach.
Right, and so now they've turned around, and now they're going to shoot at the big scary train, as the boys and come up and do the thing.
Literally the boys in blue.
You're right.
Are charging the line. So they're charging the line, hail of gunfire raining down on these locomotives. What do the Seabees do?
Drink.
Put the throttle on the ceiling and just go.
We're running to Mexico.
We're gonna wreck the goddamn train anyway.
They put the throttles on the ceiling, they crack a couple more, and they open fire back on the North Koreans.
As you do.
Whistle blowing, blow down on.
We have reached a slight problem, though. The North Koreans didn't put anything on the tracks, which is good. Why is that also bad?
Nothing to stop them when they reach
get
end
to
of
the-
track.
No, the track keeps going well
Okay.
into the American lines, and they've got brakes and stuff.
Okay.
Why is that bad?
Did the Americans know they're coming?
Remember when I said this is a secret mission?
Yeah.
Oh my.
So now, you have all these locomotives charging unobstructed toward, and this is, picture the Americans again, this is before they had a lot of equipment. They get up onto the beach, and the North Koreans have never faced a military force like this. They're
Right.
getting their asses handed
Right.
to them. The North Koreans are shooting anything they've got. They're throwing rocks, they're throwing sticks, they're collapsing buildings.
So a bunch of rogue locomotives seems
they're throwing
about
trains.
on par here.
So what does the U.S. military do?
They start shooting at the trains.
They open fire.
Naturally.
What do the Seabees do?
They unfurl an American flag and hold it out the window, waving it as patriotically as Stars and Stripes Forever starts playing in the background as the cannons start going off.
They earn them all onto a boat and he beat them.
About every single one of them.
We'll run it straight into the Dachshund engine, God bless.
Yes. No, that would have been great, but bear in mind, they have the bullets of not one, but two armies raining down on these locomotives.
Okay,
So they keep the throttles on the ceiling,
as you do.
they continue firing back, and they continue drinking, presumably. And they just charge the American line.
Please tell me they start whistling like Stars and Stripes Forever or American.
I love it. What happens?
They make
They make it through.
They make it through. What do the Americans do? What finally happens?
They stop, and they're immediately surrounded by men with rifles.
They finally turn and see it's dudes in CB uniforms and go,
Yeah.
okay,
Mark gets
yeah.
it. A naval sergeant is cited as saying, a naval private is quoted. Good God! Imagine that, Sarge. There was a bunch of doggies out ahead of us. What are doggies?
Seabees?
No,
Engines.
no.
Seamen?
Doggies or doggies? Devil dogs.
Oh, Marines.
Marines.
Mar-
He sees the uniform, and for whatever reason, he thinks, "Look, there's Marines in those locomotives. Hold your fire." What does the sergeant say?
They're not Marines, they're Seabees.
Close?
What the is this
No, it's just the Seabees again. Wow. So in the end,
Sorry, we brought you a train or eight.
so in the end, how does it wrap up?
Well, they pull
get
up
to the
parks at the
end.
Independent, get off the engine, put some chains on it, throw the keys in the dirt, bring cases of beer and go, party! As the privates that suck and have to go do the thing are going to go assault the hill and deal with the North Koreans, and all of the non-enlisted people all got hammered.
Pretty much.
Cool!
Except for one detail. The military confiscated the beer and alcohol, citing
Of course they did.
Citing fears that it would have been poisoned. What did the Seabees have to say to that?
We tested it.
Yes, precisely. The Seabees protested on grounds that they had thoroughly tested the supply, and it had not been tainted in any way.
Naturally.
Three names: Donald T. Bloomer, Welton Horn, and Gordon K. Bennett all received commendation and the Combat V for the operation. It is not recorded what became of the locomotives or the liquor upon reaching the American line. Presumably the locomotives were pressed into service. We all kind of know how the Korean War went.
And the liquor disappeared.
And that's the end of the story.
And there it is.
Wow.
That is a ride.
That is the great CB locomotive heist of 1950.
Why the is it there a movie about
That's
this?
what I said. I heard about this story and was like, oh my god, they're in a brewery? What?
That's too good. That is too good.
I have
pretty
so
good.
many questions.
It's such a wonderful story. And unfortunately, if you know more about this or you have corrections, please post them in the comments.
As always.
This is one of those that it was posted 10, 15 years after the fact in the Naval Journal after it had been declassified, and there's really not a ton known about the
Right.
story. That's why it's...
If you've got the grandpa that served it, that is a story.
There's nobody at this table that knew this story before a couple days ago. And
Right.
that's one of the reasons why. There's not really much to tell.
Never heard of that before. That is now my favorite Korean War story.
Isn't it wonderful?
That is absolutely fantastic.
That
That's one of the
is
best
topped out.
citation needed stories we've had on the channel.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Topped out Operation Paul Bunyan for best
Almost.
Korean War story for
Almost.
me.
And that's the end of the video.
But who won? You were keeping track of points. No, you weren't. You're going to make
No.
me do it in post.
Yep.
You son of a...
He's cut to the winner right now. There's lights and flashing and klaxons going off, and somebody's won, but we don't know.
I think it's me. I felt like I got the most
I think
points.
it's you. It's
I don't
probably
know.
Mark.
I don't know. Yeah. Either that or Leighton for the briefing on the Korean War. We'll see.
I don't know.
Bye!